Hi there. So today it's real important that we talk about emotions and vibration. That's going to come up a lot throughout the course. So I want to give everyone sort of a reference point. We really need to understand the importance of our emotions because they are directly related with our vibration. And our vibration is directly related with what we manifest into our lives. So I actually found this out by mistake. When I went through my detox, so this is why it's really, really, really important that you take your detox seriously. Not to be like super harsh about it. It's like, have fun with it, of course. But what I'm saying is, to the degree you take it seriously is to the degree in which you get amazing results, or whatever results you put in is what you're going to get out. So anyway, this is going to give us a little bit more insight as to why and how we go about this. So after my detox, when I took this last, serious one, when I took this last one more seriously, I started to notice that I was feeling a lot more emotional. And at first, that's like normal, right? Because we're purging and all this stuff's coming up, and that's pretty normal, especially if we're used to drinking every day or every few days, and then all of a sudden we stop. We're like, whoa, I'm feeling more. So that's it's not good or bad. It just is what it is. It's because alcohol or pills or whatever is your poison, it tends to numb pain, and that's why a lot of us reach for those things, even though it might be subconscious. So anyway, with that, when we numb pain, we also don't allow other emotions to come in. So that's not something we really think about, though. It's when we're numbing pain, we're also blocking love. We're blocking abundance. We're blocking knowledge. We're blocking a lot of other things from coming into our experience, from coming into our consciousness. So when we detox, we start to feel a little bit more of a range of emotion, which is at first it's like, what is this? But when we think about how important it is to have our emotions, that they're there for a reason, that they're actually our compass as to where to go in life. I always kind of think of ourselves as like Care Bears now, like that's our point of attraction. That's what we're bringing into our lives, and I'll get more into that later. But what I started to notice after I did the last serious detox is I started to notice I was having a much wider range, and I noticed it when I was on a walk, which then turned into my first run I had in like years. And as I'm running, I started to like get choked up. And then I started to cry, and I wasn't sure why, but since I was running and it was like 7 a.m. and it was kind of drizzling out and there was no one around, and I was just like, I'm going to let it out, just let it out. I don't know what this is. I couldn't tell if I was crying out of, it wasn't shame. And so it took me a little while to realize, but it was gratitude. I was crying because I was so proud. I was so proud of myself for pushing myself a little bit farther every day. Just a couple of days before that, I couldn't even get out of bed, and then I would take the trash out, and then I'd walk to the park and bring, a blanket with some crackers, and then the next day I would start doing laps, and then the next day I did more laps, and the next day I went a little faster. And then the day I started running, I just started crying, and I just was like, oh my gosh, I've been denying myself of a lot. This is life, this is life. And so with that, we're starting to open up. I'm not saying you're that bad, but we're all in different paradigms. We're all in different spots. And some of us numb more than others. Some of us numb without even realizing we're numbing. So I wanted to bring in the emotional guidance scale because this has everything to do with the law of attraction. Has everything to do with our life. It's a wonderful, wonderful tool to reference because we want to know where we're at so that we can always climb up. So when I'm using this because it's fun. Why not? So I was living in this area of like anxiety. I wouldn't say I was a jealous person, but it all carries the same frequency. A lot of a lot of different emotions will kind of carry the same frequency or vibration. And so anyway, all I know is for sure, I was anxious all the time. I was always worried. I was always finding things to be worried about, and then I'd fixate on them, and I'd fester. And I also felt a lot of shame and guilt. I don't know if you can't really see that from here, but shame and guilt are at the very, very bottom of the scale. And what's interesting to me is that shame and guilt aren't, too far off from like anger and grief, so actually grief. So what I wanted to mention there is how someone who's ashamed of doing something, something, whether it's small or it's big, it's still shame. It's still shame. And that was maybe an action they did to themselves or whatever. That's shame, right? But then someone who experiences grief, that's someone who lost something, that's somebody who through no fault of their own, they lost something. Usually it's no fault of their own. It's just sad. It's really sad that someone might have lost a family member or a relationship or a job or whatever. And that grief, carries a certain frequency and it's too bad, So it's really sad that, we kind of create our own, not create, but we kind of sometimes end up somewhere where we didn't ask to be there. It's just happenstance. It's just a circumstance. I'm sorry. It's a circumstance we found ourselves in, and it's unfortunate. What I've learned is that if we dwell for too long, we'll dwell in that vibration, in that frequency, and then we'll start to. I'll get more into this in the next page here, where I talk about point of attraction. But when we hang out, wherever we hang out emotionally, that's what we're going to start to attract into our life. More reasons to worry, more reasons to grieve. So if let's say we hung out too long in grief, we'll start to lose more. And then kind of spiral down and down and down and down until we feel completely defeated and helpless. And how do I climb out of this? So luckily, a lot of people know how to climb out, whether it's by instinct or have a really good support system or always have something to reach for. But when you find yourself, like I did, it was during the lockdown where I was going through a lot, but I had nothing to hold on to. There was nothing to pull me out of that, and we tend to look for things outside of ourselves, like alcohol or socializing or something to do, or work. A lot of people, will go to work as a form of escapism. We want to escape this feeling, right? Well, first of all, have compassion for yourself. That's a good starting off point. But from there, we want to start to climb up the scale with intention. Like I want to feel enthusiastic. I want to feel more empowered. I want to feel more passionate. I want to feel so. One good example I have is when we're down here in the pits of hell, I call it. When we're down here, one thing that I noticed that happened with me is when I surrendered to higher power or God, I didn't really know at the time like what I was doing, but I was just like, I give up. What do I have to do? I am giving up all controls. I surrendered, and then I remember doing a diary about this, and I knew nothing about the emotional scale back in these days, but I just surrendered and was like, I give all controls. And then from then I knew the only thing to do was to follow my intuition, like to really, really tap in, like block everyone else out. Nothing else matters. I'm going into intuitive survival mode, not like struggle survival, but like it's me against the world, but in a good way. Like I am going to be the best version of myself, the most wholesome, innocent, ambitious person ever now. Like I only, because I had lost my will before, but I'm trying to strengthen it. I was trying to strengthen my will to do better, to live a more abundant life. Like this can't be what life's about, right? All down here, heck no. But through surrendering, there's acceptance and there's willingness. So I just went all the way from guilt, shame, defeat, anxiety, worry, all those things. I went all the way from a 20 all the way to a 350 within minutes, within seconds of just saying, I don't care. I don't know anymore. That's true surrendering is one of the highest vibrational things you could do. And just by getting this course, just by participating in this course, in a way that's surrendering, saying, I'm thirsty, I'm ready to move out of, you could be right here, content, optimistic, but maybe you want to be up here and have ultimate freedom. I'll get into that in a different video, but it's real important to understand how powerful the awareness of our the awareness of our emotions are, because they are directly related with our intention too. No one intends to feel anxious. No one wants to feel that way, but we're feeling helpless while we're anxious, right? Well, this is why the detox was so important, is because when you flush all of that, when you flush all the toxins out, naturally we get more energy. We'll get more energy. When we're down here vibrationally, we are very low energy. That's why we feel even more defeated or even more anxious, is because like we might feel like fearful, but we're buckled, or fear actually has a little bit more of a higher vibration. But when we're feeling in defeat, we're feeling weak. We're feeling low energy. Like I have no energy to even think of what to do to even begin to climb myself out of this situation. It's overwhelming. We're completely overwhelmed. And so when we clear this vessel, our physical body, when we clear it out of all the gunk, naturally our gunky thoughts are going to go away with it. Not all the way. We're still going to have some. It's human nature to always look for problems. That's what we're always going to do. But with the energy and with good intention and with this positive, like, okay, we're going to start building this positive momentum forward with a positive attitude and a positive outlook. And now I got Stacy in my corner and I got my support system in my corner. Like, let's do this. Now that starts to create this momentum, this positive momentum, and that's naturally going to higher your vibration. So the longer you stay up here, then the longer you have this point of attraction that starts to attract what you want in life. And it'll just start flowing in with ease. This is proof that you've shifted your paradigm. And all the things that you were worried about before are like, you'll look back and be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I was that. Like, that was only like 3 days ago. Like, what? I was so concerned about something that is so minuscule. Like, there's this and this and this and this and this and this and this to be excited about. Like, so then we start. So this will be in your resources. There's going to be documents there. You'll have a much clearer one to look at. You can always Google too, Emotional Guidance Scale. This is just basically for me to kind of stay on track and for a little colors for you guys. Real important. We want to always be in joy. Joy. That's what we're always shooting for, is joy. Because then the universe will give us more and more tangible evidence of why we should feel joy. So it's like, if something, let's say, comes up where it would normally give you anxiety or worry or something, usually when you're in this vibration, your problem solving skills have heightened or gotten better. So you're able to dissolve that with ease and just like next, rather than dwelling or festering or living in that. A good rule of thumb is don't spend longer than 17 seconds on something, because then that's where your vibration starts. So spend a few seconds on it. If you don't have a solution, move on as quickly as you can. Just move on and be like, I'll get to that later. I'll get to it later. And this is a new paradigm. So this is not procrastination. This is life and death. That's how I look at it. It's life and death. Like, is this life and death? Okay, bye. Like, I don't need to do this right now. I'll do it when I have more energy. I'll do it when I have more resources. I'll do it when I have more information. But right now is not the time. I'd rather go do what I'm inspired to do, not what I'm supposed to do. So now we'll get into point of attraction. Ooh, that is messy. Sorry. Now we'll get into point of attraction. And again, this is just kind of for me to stay focused, and then for me to use my claw. Hi. Okay, so point of attraction. When we're down on the lower end of the emotional scale, we're gonna attract more drama. We're gonna attract more gossip, more reasons to gossip. So this perpetuates, this negative energy feeds itself. Negative energy will always feed itself, and it's like a virus. It'll just keep going and going and going and going. Where positive energy needs to be fed with intention. It needs to, and you need to feed it reasons to be happy. I love the flowers today. They're beautiful. The birds are so pretty today. I'm so thankful for my home. I'm so thankful for my house. I'm so thankful for my family. All those things, like we have to actually feed it with intention and kind of reach a little bit sometimes. But with negative energy will just keep going and going and going and going. And so the hardest part is climbing out of there at first, but then once we do and we change our point of attraction, we'll always find easily reasons to be happy, because that's our point of attraction. More and more reasons to be happy will start to come into, because we've kind of reprogrammed our mind to start looking for those things. Like another thing that happens with detox is our senses are heightened. Our sense of smell, our sense of taste, like everything's just a little bit more sensitive and more fine-tuned. So we start to feel more and be a little bit more sensitive, but in a good way, to where we're able to really experience life and stop and smell the roses and actually smell them. And like, so when you have this point of attraction, oh my gosh, your thirst for knowledge will just, it's expanded because your consciousness is expanded because you're in higher vibration. Your consciousness it's contracted when you're in a low vibration. It's expanded when you're in a high vibration. So that's why when we're down here, we're not very creative. We're like this with our little blinders on, like, oh, I don't know what to do. Then no wonder we keep doing the hamster on a hamster wheel thing. Our vantage point is very limited, very, very limited when we're anywhere below, 250 neutral. We're not very creative. We're not going to have ideas to begin the momentum to get to our goals to then create abundance. We start to kind of, once we start getting into the best version of ourselves and maintain this vibration, then it just becomes easier and easier and easier. We're like a rock star, and then our electromagnetic field is just like attractive. So people come to you with opportunities. People come to you with gifts. People come to you and ask you out on a date, or you're just beaming. You're glowing. And that's not something that people will be like, hey, she's glowing today. It's not something they're thinking. That's their intuition. That's their, because everyone, I don't care who you are, everyone is a little bit psychic. Everyone has some kind of intuition, and we all do subconsciously feed on each other's vibes. We just do. It's inside of us. It's how we're built. So when you are glowing and more energetic and more in an inspired kind of vibration, there's more. It's like fertile ground. It's like, oh gosh, she would be great, or he would be great to work with, or whatever. So all the things down here, when we're in this frame, all the things that seemed impossible, we not only now know are very possible, but now it's like, this is fun. This is exciting. And the more excited we are, then the more we create. The more we create, it just grows and grows and grows. And we have this thirst for knowledge that wasn't really there before, because our frame has changed. And this is something I try to do every so often, is do another detox, because once we're used to something, it kind of can become a little stagnant, and then that's just a little indication. Okay, I'm like lower energy, something's off. This isn't bad, but I want to feel more. I want to feel more of that energy I had before. Where when you're in this energy, you wake up wanting to do something, and it's not check your emails, because that's like the number one no when you're detoxing is waking up and the first thing you do is start to check your emails, and that's not what we want to do. We want to wake up we want to think about what we're grateful for, what we want to accomplish. You'll develop your own morning routine, but it's kind of nice to roll over and in bed and just kind of sit for a minute. Just nothing's nagging at you. You don't have anything, like, don't start your day off with worry. Start your day off with gratitude. And that sounds, like, it's like I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not. That'll come natural. That'll come naturally. It will. And the key is to feed that momentum. And when you go to bed at night, like, wow, today was awesome. I got this done and that done. And now I'm actually tired. I'm not like forcing myself to go to bed because I spent my energy in such a way that was productive and with ease and with, like, it was satisfying. It was so satisfying. Like, I earned this rest. Like, you're just ready for bed, rather than, because I notice whenever I do a detox, the 5th day I feel absolutely amazing, and sleeping is just so beautiful. It's so beautiful. And then when you have a good night's rest, you wake up in more of a creative, with more of a creative mindset. And it's not even your mind. It's partially your mind, but it's just your whole being is just ready to just, let's go do something, So anyway, this is your point of attraction. So if we can control our environment, this is why it's so important to set boundaries and really put yourself first in every situation, at least at first during this program. You are number one, and that was, I wouldn't say hard for me, but a little bit, because I've never considered myself selfish. But now, if you're not a selfish person, now's the time to be one. Completely, 100%. Selfish. You first. I don't know if selfish is the word, but just a lot of self-care. Put yourself first right now. It's so important. Put yourself first, because we want to higher that vibration. We want to set boundaries. It's important to set those boundaries when we're trying to increase our vibration. Because we don't want any outside influences when we're trying to discover ourselves. What does make me happy? What does bring me joy? Like pure, unadulterated joy, like real joy. We have to figure those things out. Sometimes we get so caught up in things. It's like, what do I like to do anyway? I'm so used to going with my family to do this, or my boyfriend or girlfriend to do that. What do I like? What kind of music do I listen to? What kind of documentaries would I like to watch? So really, really, and then also education, like lectures, like we can, I call them healthy rabbit holes. There's the unhealthy ones about like conspiracy theories and people to be mad at, and more reasons to feel helpless, but no, look for look for like food for the brain, lectures. So all these different nutritionists would be talking about, or doctors or neuroscientists who talk about all the different foods that are great for the brain. Watch that. Like, this is about our body. This is about our mind. We only have one life. We only have one body. How can we best higher our vibration? And that's through knowledge. We learn more about ourselves. We learn more about the universe. So I'll have a list of different subjects, just as a starting off point. But then start to curate your YouTube or whatever you use for more knowledge. Start to curate that with all these different interests and podcasts and lectures and things. And then that way, whether you're cleaning the house or doing your dishes or, knitting or, working on your car, just have it in the background. So you're always receiving new information that might help you later. Our subconscious is always listening. It's like a receiver. So if we got news in the background, that's going to bring us down here. Even if we're consciously saying, "Oh, I'm not paying attention to that," your subconscious is listening, and that'll be another lesson in itself. But we wanna be very consciously aware of what our subconscious is listening to. Think of it as like a little kid or a little baby who doesn't have an ego yet and is running around, and everything you say or do, it's like a sponge. That's how our subconscious mind works. So we want to feed that with all positive music, all positive information, And you will see how your body and your mind will start to just behave differently just by doing that. So you don't even have to be like super attentive to what's going on in the podcast or what's going on in the lecture, but have it running in the background all the time. And another huge suggestion is solfeggio music or binaural beats because of the vibration and frequency. That's another thing you wouldn't think matters, but your subconscious is always listening. So when you put on classical music or anything like that in the background, happy music, light-hearted music, your body loves it. It loves it. And it will higher your vibration without you having to really do it. You could be working on whatever. You could be drawing. You could be, working on work. But having that music calms. It doesn't just calm. It raises your vibration. And then will then increase your point of attraction to a place that's more desirable and abundant. So, anything that causes you irritation or worry, that'll just bring on mediocre. We don't want that. And it'll bring your energy down. It'll suck the life out of you. We've all heard of energy vampires. Those negative Nancys, get rid of them. Out of here. At least for a few weeks. And then, you could solidify your boundaries with them later. But for now, just say I'm doing a challenge. I am not allowed to talk to, just say anyone so it doesn't hurt their feelings. Anyway, you'll figure it out. And then this is another hamster wheel. You can also find yourself on the hamster wheel just being neutral. So it's good to just kind of reach for all the things that make you happy. And even if it's your subconscious, make your subconscious happy. Okay, so that's going to be it for your emotions, your vibration, and your point of attraction. And that's why I Mr. Miyagi'd you with the detox. Bye.